I've interviewed a lot of people having near-death experiences. I think maybe around 30, and my sort of takeaway is from it is that, or one of the takeaways is that the afterlife or the experience they have, it's influenced by their belief system. So I just interviewed a lady who had a hellish experience, and she said it was because I really thought I was going to hell. Like if I kissed a guy, I was going to hell. If I ate wrong food, I was going to hell. That was her belief system. Then I'm curious about an atheist, who believes there's nothing. Wouldn't it then be pitch dark for a long, long time?
Well, not necessarily. Heaven creates an environment for the person having the near-death experience that will help them the most. But the beliefs also do affect it, because one of the things I hear over and over again from near-death experiences is that thoughts are things. And in heaven, it happens very quickly. And down here, it's a long, drawn-out process. But many atheists found themselves in the heavenly environment and were surprised. And I really don't believe in atheists. I had a guy, I was at this art and music festival once called Burning Man, and this person was reading my book. And another guy said, well, I'm an atheist. I don't believe in that. And I said, well, that's okay. I don't believe in atheists. He said, well, what are you talking about? And I said, well, nobody in any religion or any spiritual endeavor sees the whole of God. We only see little pieces. And you believe in love, don't you? And he says, yeah. And I says, well, I think that's part of God. So, the other thing I'll tell an atheist is we have two things in common. We both believe the same thing, just reversed. So you believe we're human beings pretending there's a God. I believe we're little facets of God pretending to be human. And the other thing we both hope is that, if we're honest, we both hope that you're wrong. So, yeah, and there's agnostics. I mean, my father isn't sure about the afterlife. He doesn't believe in all the stuff I talk about. But, he listens to Teal Swan, who you've had on the show several times, and he incorporates into his life almost every spiritual aspect. And he is probably doing a better job than I am in his personal interactions, choosing the path of love. So you don't have to believe in anything to really be part of the creation process. And we choose the path of love. That's the creation process. And children don't have any spiritual knowledge at all, zero. And yet they are the most spiritually mature of any group. If you're in a public place and you're having a bad day, walk up to a room full of adults and say, I'm having a really bad day. I need a hug from somebody. They're probably going to look at you like you're crazy. You walk into a room of children and say that, you're going to get hugs. Yeah. So it doesn't take belief to be part of this process.
Yeah, and probably deep down, like deep down, like you're saying, they're having a belief maybe that colors their afterlife experience. So what have these NDE experiences and stories taught you about our connection with extraterrestrials? We hear a lot about the Pleiadians especially, and I'm curious about, are there intelligent species within our galaxy, or are we talking other universes in our solar system? Like, what is your experience of there being intelligent lives around outside Earth?
Well, Albert Einstein once said, two things are infinite, the universe and human stupidity, and I'm not sure about the universe. So let's talk for a moment about the universe and how big it is. So if you were to travel at the speed of light, you could go around the Earth 7 times in 1 second, roughly. And traveling at this tremendous speed of light, if you were to try and cross the pinpoint of light in this universe that we call the Milky Way galaxy, you would have to travel at that tremendous speed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for your entire life, and then repeat that for 1,200 lifetimes. So our galaxy contains hundreds of billions of stars, and it's just a pinpoint, and there are hundreds of billions of galaxies. If we were alone in the universe, it'd be way overbuilt, and God is not that inefficient. And so one of the common questions that people ask when they're in heaven is, are we alone in the universe? And the answer is always the same. It's kind of almost funny to ask that, and they know the universe is full of life, and there are other dimensions with other universes that are also full of life. And so, yes, there are. I'll talk only about this galaxy because I haven't heard much about other galaxies, but each galaxy is different. They all have different laws of physics. And this galaxy is working on a love-fear duality. It is full of life. About 95% of the intelligent species are benevolent or sort of neutral and peaceful. And there's 5% that are kind of misbehaving. But because of their limited consciousness, their technology is limited. So the 95% kind of keep them in check. And we have had many species watching over us. The Pleiadians are our cosmic parents. So when a planet ascends and human beings are on this ascension path where we're going to become an ascended planet, their job becomes to seed life on another planet. So the Pleiadians were involved in seeding life here and taking care of us and watching over us. The Arcturians were the parents of the Pleiadians. And when I've heard about this new world of love that heaven is talking about, we got a lot of help from above, not just heaven, but also extraterrestrials, the Pleiadians specifically. And of course, if you see a flying saucer, it's not Pleiadian. They have camouflage. I mean, our military is developing pretty good camouflage right now. So they will eventually show themselves. We're not ready to meet them yet. If you had moved into a new neighborhood and the neighbors told you, I see that guy across the street over there, he spends half of his income on military equipment and guns and all sorts of stuff. And if you show up at his door and he doesn't know you, he's not going to be pointing a gun at you, but he's going to have it at his side ready, because he doesn't trust you. Well, I just described with that neighbor the United States government, right? Half their money on military, and if a spaceship landed on the White House lawn, would they be met with handshakes and smiles, or would there be a military response? We're not ready yet. But we will meet them someday when we're ready.
To watch the full video, click the link below, and I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel.